Imagine tearing into a giant, perfectly wrapped gift. The paper is shiny, the bow is huge, and you are so excited. But when you finally pop the lid, there is absolutely nothing inside. It is a huge letdown. Thousands of years ago, a prophet named Isaiah wrote down a message explaining that God feels that exact same disappointment when he looks at how some people practice their faith. At the time, the people were participating in a practice called fasting. Fasting means they were choosing to skip meals for a short period so they could spend that extra time and energy focusing on praying to God. The practice looked great on the outside, but God pointed out that going through the motions of a religious tradition means very little if a person's heart remains completely empty of love for others. In the book of Isaiah, the people complain to God. They ask, "Why have we fasted and you have not seen it? Why have we humbled ourselves and you have not noticed?" This diagram illustrates God's exact response to their complaint. On one side of the scale, we have their empty ritual of fasting, but as these heavy weights slam down, we see the real problem. On the exact same days they skip meals to pray, they are also getting into fistfights, acting selfishly, and treating their workers terribly. The bad behavior completely outweighs the religious ritual. God did not want them to simply look pious on the outside. He required a genuine change in how they treated the people around them. Singing songs, going to a worship service, or praying out loud while continuing to be cruel to your neighbors is exactly like handing God that beautifully wrapped, completely empty box. If an empty performance is not the goal, what exactly is God asking his people to put inside their box? Isaiah chapter 58 lays out a very clear checklist. The very first action step is simple: share your food with people who are hungry. The second action is to loosen the chains of injustice. In everyday terms, that means standing up for people who are being bullied, taken advantage of, or treated unfairly. The third step is to step in when you see someone without basic necessities, providing warm clothing and safe shelter for those who do not have it. True worship is measured by how actively we care for the most vulnerable people in our own community. This care for the vulnerable extended to people who felt totally left out. At the time, foreigners and outsiders genuinely believed they were permanently excluded from God's family. God corrects this misunderstanding directly. As this diagram shows, when the doors swing open, everyone is welcome. His house is designed to be a house of prayer for all nations. There is no exclusive VIP club or bouncer at the door. God asks only two things of anyone who wants to join: to love him and to honor his special day of rest, known as the Sabbath, by pausing from their usual work. When people practice this kind of inclusive love and kindness, the text promises an immediate result. Your life will break forth like the dawn, lighting up the darkness like the morning sun. Following God means actively tearing down the walls of exclusive clubs and keeping the doors wide open for anyone willing to walk through them. When we prioritize helping others, God makes a deeply personal promise. He says when you call to him for help, he will immediately answer, "Here am I." Isaiah gives us one final, powerful image to explain how this works. He describes a broken city wall, which represents a neighborhood or a community that has been damaged by years of selfishness, fighting, and neglect. God gives a special title to those who step in with true kindness. He calls them repairer of broken walls. Every time you choose to share your lunch, invite an outsider to sit with you, or stand up for a classmate who is being picked on, you are physically repairing the broken parts of the world. Loving God is an active construction project. It spills into the streets to heal our schools, our neighborhoods, and the world around us. Take a moment to look at your own habits. Are you going through the motions of being good while accidentally handing God an empty box? Think of just one person today. Find one person you can share something with, one person you can stand up for, or one person you can invite into your group. Always remember the promise Isaiah wrote down. God wants to take those small, specific actions and use them to bring brilliant light to the darkest corners of your community. Step outside, open the doors, and become a master builder for God today.